So I'm now recording the session as mentioned before. So here we can see the configuration folder of my profiles in my on-premise installation. I have different customized profiles here in that folder, and there are also two subfolders for rendering and for routing. The file I want to look at in the next minutes is in the rendering context. So if we look at rendering subfolder, you can see the usual color schemes of amber, black marble, gravel pit, and so on. And I have also created a new file which is called default 5. And if we look into that file in detail, you can see it's an XML file, and that file is mainly contains a big section that is the rendering profile section. So there are no routing parameters in that file. That's because I have prepared this just for the rendering use case. So furthermore, the only things I have added to that file refers to all the countries. So you can also specify that you only want to apply specific settings for a specific country, then you would have to provide some country code. In this field with the asterisk, you can just say apply the following settings to all countries. And so I'm not familiar in detail with the structure of that file. For the moment, let's just focus on where is the file located, how can you request and refer to that file in the REST API call. So at least what I know is that the preferred routes feature layer themes is 1 out of 7 or 8 different potential themes that you could use. Preferred routes have a specific road category or network type, for example, 34, or below we can see that I have mentioned the categories 8 and 9. And for each one of these different, I use this ranges to specify subcategories within the preferred routes. And for each subcategory, in this example, I've just chosen different colors: red, green, magenta, cyan, and so on. And now let's have a look at what happens if we request that file. So here we have default 5. We have a strict red color. That means if we look at the configuration file, that's probably the road category, this one, road category 18. And if we go to somewhere else in the data, then we can see there is magenta here in that part of Germany. There's some other category 18 here in Bremen. The preferred routes are quite sparse, so it's not a big amount of data. I think we also have some in, yes, here we go. Stockholm. In Sweden, we have the different categories. Well, I have another test client I can use to demonstrate some other view to that topic. So that's an xMap2 test client. Let me just display the preferred routes. So we should see them in the go to the cloud. And now let's just have to choose the proper here map. So what's wrong with that? It used to work yesterday. It's still calculating. Okay, it's just a large amount of data. So in this test client, the reason why I use this xMap test client for the moment is because here you can just see there is a large number of 75,000 road segments with specific attributes or preferred routes classes. And the client itself consumes not only the visual information, but also tooltip information that I could use to display tooltips when I hover over these objects, but not 75 tooltips. But what I have created yesterday is just some kind of statistics about that information. So in the visible section, we have 75,000 objects of the preferred routes layer. And if I look into these, each one of these objects has a specific description. In this case, it's just the preferred route type. And then you can see in that region that is visible on the map, we have more than 40,000 segments of preferred route type range 8, 20,000 range 20, 11,000 range 18, and so on. And that's what is visible here. Now, I have not tested this yesterday with the Swedish region. Let me just try this. problem is that the test line is quite
Yes, in general, we are also testing with Swedish because the clients are from there and they are using BK1, BK2, and BK3 as a preferred route types. So yes, as I know from the xServer1, when we implemented the xServer1 in our system, we use Swedish addresses for.
Okay, now we see the Swedish contribution, and here we also have preferred route type 37. When we started with that, we had the xServer forum and maybe that's enough to search it. Yes, here we go.
Yes, this question is from my colleague also.
Okay.
We ask, yes.
Okay, but here in this example where I create this screenshot, the identifier or the category identifier is also the range.
Yes, yes.
So and this is,
yes, but the request was different and easier for understanding.
of course, this is a quite simple example. It uses, I would say, the same properties like the range, the colors, the opacity, and so on. The thing is that this request is not using the protocol that you want to use. In your case, you wanted to work with the REST API, and this is a native call. So if we look into my xServer, where is it? Administration. If you look into the services that are provided by the xMap module, you have the SOAP API, you have the JSON API, which is the one that is used in the forum post, but you want to work with the REST API.
Yes.
So, and in the REST API, if we look into xMap operations, you see that there is the basic render map request, which is available through both SOAP and JSON. And you have the REST URL. And in the REST approaches, you usually have only access to a small subset of all the available parameters. And all these rendering parameters are not available through the REST API. So the only approach you can use a custom color scheme is to define a stored profile in your on-premise environment and refer to that. But that means you cannot change the color scheme at runtime.
Yes, it is okay for now because we define the colors in the background and we use as a hard-coded in the code, so it is okay for now. In the future, if we want to do something different, for example, the user can change the colors. After that, we can change the code. Okay. Maybe switch to the JSON or SOAP.
The question is, of course, or one question could be, how often do you want to change this? You can define not only one stored profile, maybe if needed, you can define several color schemes. And such as colors.
For now, we defined the colors for BK1, BK2, and BK3, which we use in the xServer1. And now we are trying to include xServer2 in our solution, and we want to use the same colors, three different colors. It is not important. They are approved from the customer and they're okay from them, so we can include only that three colors for now.
Okay, but if you know from the, let's say, if you know from the xServer1 approach, what the street identifiers, the ranges are, then you can, from my perspective, you should be able to create such a file. Maybe not 6 different colors, but only 3, depends on what you need. Well, that's the basic workflow. Define such a file, drop it in the proper subfolder of your xServer installation. In this case, the rendering profile. But what I could also demonstrate then is if we look into this generic xServer test client, which is not public, by the way. So I can just request through the API of our xRuntime, that's a specific submodule, what is the content of a specific configuration file? So then I get, via API call, I get the content of this file. And of course, I don't know whether you know that, you can also ask for, give me a list of the profiles, and then you get a large list of routing and mapping profiles, and combined with information, what use cases do they cover? And here is the default 5 profile. And all these elements, the name, the display name, the use cases that are part of the file itself, and also the tooltip text that I have created here is just what is in that file.
Yes, clear.
So after you deployed it on the server, you can just ask for the content of such a file.
Yes, I will try with the file that I prepared yesterday. It is the same with this default 5 that you show me now. So I will try and include in the code and check if works. It's okay, because we need to use this different color to be clear for the clients to see which of the preferred routes are with type 34, which are. That is the point. So I will check with my system administrator to put the file there, and I will test in my code. So I will inform. Thank you.
Okay. Was that the color scheme in the Java in the forum entry? Was that the one that you need?
Sorry?
Is that color scheme that is used in this example? Is that the one that you need for your?
Yes. But I think instead of the blue, we have a red color. The others are the same.
That's that user is a colleague from you, yes?
Yes. We ask this question for the xServer1, and we include these functionalities also, and it works very good there in the xServer1. So now we can try to implement in the xServer2 also.
Okay. So now you know the workflow, how to request it, and how to apply. Now, what are the questions about what are the questions about the content of the file?
The questions were related with the IDs, something that I asked you at the beginning, BK1 or 34. But okay, I will check with BK1, BK2, or BK3, and if works, it will be okay. But it's if not, I will change in the 34, 35, 36, because as I can see here in your example, it works with the numbers 34, 35, 36.
Let me just check one more thing, because there are some theme-specific properties, and here we've got the preferred routes, BK1 and so on. But
yes,
so this is quite interesting, but it doesn't give you the identifier that you need for the file, because in the file you would not refer to BK3, but to range 37, for example.
Yes, because in the code, when I want to show the preferred route types, I should use this one, BK1, BK2, and BK3 for the xServer2. Okay. I will check. It's not a problem. I will check with 34, 35, 36, and if everything is okay, it's not a problem, because they are hard-coded in the file, so not related with some other changes in the code, in the JavaScript. No. The other question is related, the file that you sent me yesterday, default 4, I saw that there are some other information about vehicle profile, routing profile, etc. That information is needed to be included in the file, or maybe I can create file only with rendering profile.
I didn't get.
Sorry, I will try to share my screen.
Okay.
To be clear. Okay. So here I have your default 4 profile that you sent me yesterday via email. And here I can see that we have a tag with routing profile and vehicle profile.
Yeah.
And here we have rendering profile, which are needed for the coloring. I can include this vehicle profile and routing profile in my file also, but my question is, the file will works only with rendering profile, or I should include routing profile and vehicle profile in my file?
Well, it depends. I mean, you have two different API calls. If you want to calculate the route, and you refer to a stored profile that contains rendering information, the routing engine will simply not look into the rendering part. Doesn't matter. And the other way around. So if you define routing parameters in your XML file, and you apply the name of that file in your mapping context, it will simply look into your routing parameters.
Okay. So this is related with the last thing that you showed me, rendering, routing, and vehicle profile as information, as use cases.
That's the use cases, yeah. So
okay, rendering, routing. Okay.
Honestly spoken, I don't know what happens if you define, let's say, a pure rendering profile. So if mentioning use cases equals rendering without mentioning routing, then you specify a rendering profile section in the file itself without any further routing elements. I don't know what happens if you request that file in a routing call. Probably it just falls back to the default routing profile with a specific truck.
Okay, it's clear now. So that is from my side. So the next step is to try to include this file in our installation path, and I will try from our code.
Okay, I will ask some colleagues about how to get the range values for the different route types that we have mentioned in the documentation, so that you can use it for proper visualization. Because you, as I said, you don't have to specify the logical name like BK3. You would have to specify some kind of a range type, and I will drop this in the forum and send you an email with that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else I can do for you right now?
No, it's clear for now. I will try and I will inform you about the results.
Okay, great. Then I will stop the recording and send you the video link.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, see you later then.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.